pretty level. Okay, we're talking about fundamentals, just like the early levels, right? Whether you're left or right. Have the kid start with the bat on his shoulder. So he's just standing here like this, comfortable. Make sure his knuckles are lined up. Not these knuckles, not the punching knuckles, but the knocking knuckles. Those should be lined up, okay? They should be relaxed, just like this. Now have them bend their knees slightly. Their feet should be a little wider than their shoulders. Then have them raise their hands up off their shoulders when the pitcher's ready to pitch. There you go. That's all you need. That's it. You want to see how Joe Mauer does it? He goes, instead of doing this, he just does this a little bit. All he is a little bit further back. That's it. A little more weight in the back leg. Be careful having you, as dads, watch your favorite hitter and having your kid doing this and then wondering why he's hitting a $150 and striking out all the time. Okay? Let's just make sure they're hitting line drives. Everybody's enamored by the home run. I get it. But there'll always be a place for a guy that hits 500. All right? I got a guy on my team, great player. He's one of the kids along with my son that made the 9th grade team. He's hit over 500 for me all 3 years I've coached him. Really good baseball player. 520, 540, 580. It's ridiculous. I have not, I swear to God, he has hit more balls up the middle. I mean, we could put a clown mouth out there and he'd hit it every time. I mean, the guy, everything is up the middle. It's crazy. And that's the other thing that you want to encourage your guys to do. Hit the ball up the middle. When guys, they want to go up there and they want to hit it hard, which means they'll start pulling the ball all the time, like they're professional softball players. Okay? That's a problem, because then what's going to happen, and I could break this down and get really technical, but let's assume there's an eyeball. I've got 2 eyes on the pitcher. I've got an eyeball on my ankle, on my knee, on my hip, and on my shoulder. There's an eyeball on all of those. If any one of those eyeballs at any point steps out too soon or takes its eye off that ball, that swing becomes weak. I pull off, I hit an outside pitch like this, I hit a weak ground ball over there. Now that kid's gonna hit a $150 because he's trying to pull everything, right? Look at Mike Trout, look what he's able to do. Hitters today have a much harder job than guys back in the day because they had the same pitcher for 9 innings. These guys got 3 pitchers, one every inning that comes in for 98 with nasty sliders and stuff. They're still hitting 300. I mean, that tells you how good they are. But my point of it is you watch a guy like Mike Trout, and when he hits, you know, he's a little upright, but the whole idea is that he stays inside the baseball. You're going to hear that a lot. And what that means is he doesn't try to pull things. He keeps his hands inside the ball and tries to hit the inner half. So, he's leading with his hands. Tony Gwynn used to say, lead with the knob. Lead with the knob. That guy could hit pretty good last night, you remember. Right? Lead with the knob, and you take that inside pitch, and you'll see Mike Trout take an inside pitch, where some guys will hit it out here, and they'll pull it foul. Mike Trout will hit that ball here, and hit it to right center for a home run. Miguel Cabrera, probably the best hitter in baseball, in my opinion. Same thing. His father and his uncle taught him how to hit. They never allowed him to pull the ball to the batting cage. We'd like make him do laps if he pulled the ball. Do not hit the ball to the left side of the cage, he'd say. You have to hit it up the middle or the right center. You know, you're going to get fooled on changeup sometimes, and you'll hit that ball down the left field line. But those guys hit 350 and 40 jacks a year for a reason, because they're using the whole field. So what do? You encourage your guys to hit the ball up the middle. If you come to one of my games, you'll hear me say when they're in the batter's box, hey, knock it up the middle here. I just remind them, because they get up there and they want to do damage, right? They want to hit a 7-run home run. And we need base hits, right? So it's important to keep your guys focused on the simple things. So one more time, feet a little wider than the shoulders, knees slightly bent so they're comfortable, rest, pitcher gets ready to pitch, raise the hands slightly. Now I'm going to address something that I know all of you guys have heard at one point. Johnny, you got to raise your elbow. Get that back elbow up there, right? Get that baby up. Okay. I don't know if you guys have done that, but that's kind of uncomfortable. I don't like to do it personally, but that makes my wrist feel funny. Now, if Bryce Harper does it, well, if Bryce does it, then everybody's got to do it, right? But it's not true. The majority of hitters don't do it, all right? Sometimes people do little things and make adjustments because they're struggling in a specific area, so they'll raise the elbow. But all they really need to do to be effective is they need to be comfortable, and they need to have their hands in a ready position. Whether you start here or here, one thing you'll notice about all of the hitters in the big leagues is bat stays in the hitting zone and is about right here for a long period of time. That's what you'll see when they do slow-mos. Their bats, somehow, all of their bats get to this point. All that other stuff they do before is just what they feel is best for them. But you want to try to focus on making sure, don't feel that the kid has to do this, he doesn't. They just have to have their hands off the shoulders. Relaxed, hands up, right? Now, talking about the next drill, or the next mindset, or where we generate our power, remember these two things. You hit the ball with your hands, and you drive it with your legs. You hit it with your hands, you drive it with your legs. Obviously, if the ball's outside, my hands have to go get it. If the ball's up, my hands have to get it. But where I generate my power from is my legs. My son actually does a camp every year, and he does some private training with Tom Quinlan, who used to play at Hill Murray, and he played professional baseball. His brother Rob played. They both played in the big leagues. And his hitting philosophy is very simple. You know, this guy got a World Series ring with the Blue Jays. He says, just relax and use your legs. That's it. He doesn't get caught up into too much of anything. If the guy's striking the ball well, that's fine. But he wants you to load early and use your legs. So now let's talk about the load. The load can be done, you will see this done different ways. And I'll show you a couple different ones. The pre-stride. You guys know what that is? The pre-stride, you'll see guys do that a lot. Denard Span used to do it for the Twins. That's basically where they step and they just use their hands. These are the types of guys that hit line drives, don't hit a lot of home runs typically, but they are good contact hitters. A pre-stride is simply they're in this position and they go like this. They step before the pitcher releases the ball. And then all they do is adjust to where the ball is and then just use their hands. You'll see a lot of guys, especially not the bigger guys, do the pre-stride. Not opposed to it, not going to say anything negative about it, because you'll see 30% of the guys in the big leagues do it. Curtis Granderson used to do the same thing. They're supposed to be here, he does this, pre-stride. Okay, now Curtis Granderson did 31 runs a year for a while, and he was pre-striding. So, got good bat speed. You know, had the right arc on his bat, a lot of runs. So that's one way to do it. What are the pros? Not a lot of extra movement. Their hands are ready to hit, and you just use your hands. Right? So that's a good thing. What are the cons? You're not really using your lower half, and you're not really driving the ball. At the higher levels, though, everybody's so strong, and the pitchers throw so hard, guys at that level still can hit it, right? So you'll see guys at the lower levels do that. They won't hit the ball very hard, but it's going to make sure they make contact, and no one, as we all know, likes to strike out. So if they do that, that's okay. So that's a load, pre-stride. All right. Another one could be just the stride and hit, where basically it's just like you see a guy like Joe Mauer. He doesn't do a toe tap, he doesn't do a big leg pump. He just basically shifts his weight back on his back leg and he starts there, and then he hits. He just strides as the pitch is coming and swings. That's it. So it's just back and then stride. So he's doing it all in one motion, right? Weight's already back. He sees the ball, he strides to it, and he swings. That's just your basic stride and swing. That's it. Then you have guys that do a little more elaborate, and they want to use their legs more, so they'll do what they call the toe tap, right? The toe tap is a load early. So they'll be in this position here, and they'll go like this. And then they'll stride to the ball and hit. All right, so you'll see some guys do it and wait. You'll see some go 1, 2. It's all timing. The load is a timing mechanism. And it also helps guys use their lower half. And then you'll see guys like David Ortiz and Jose Bautista, who struggled with those other things, and for whatever reason, you know, they'll do this. You know, you'll see David Ortiz, same thing. Boom, boom. And they use that huge leg kick, and as a result, all those guys that do that hit a lot of home runs. The downside to that is there's a lot of movement going on there, and guys can strike out. But if you've got a young man who's got great hand-eye coordination, and he's doing that, he's striking the ball, don't change it. Let him discover that he can't do that forever on his own. Or maybe he will be able to. You know, we don't know. So it's okay to let someone doing something that maybe you don't teach, but it's working. If the guy's hitting 400, you let him do it. You know, I don't care if he wears his helmet backwards and he goes in there and hits with the other side. If he's hitting 400, I'm going to let him go. So don't worry. You know, just don't feel like you've got to change something. If it's not broken, don't fix it, right? Just let it go. Because your job isn't to, and I know some people go, but fundamentally it doesn't seem right. Well, here's what you got to be careful of, especially with the higher levels. Kids that are fundamentally severely flawed are not going to hit 400. It's not going to happen. If a kid's hitting 400 or 500, he's doing a lot of things right. Because you don't hit 400 by accident. So it's important to understand that it's, you know, like I said, the kids that you're going to see that you're going to need to fix fundamentally are the ones that are hitting, you know, 110.